Yeah, good day. My name is Abdikabir Akinlabi. So we'll continue with our training, but there is something I would like to discuss with you. I'm on paint. I just want to discuss certain things. What is called a portal is not different from a website. I've said it, except that you are trying to solve certain things and you are trying to restrict some people's movement to certain pages. So that is why we always have a login platform. So you now prevent unauthorized users. Let me do something like this. So any pages you are seeing here are portal pages. So no one can get to all these pages here without having what, an access. So this is now going to be a what, a is going to be a login to all these documents here. So one will not be able to get to this place without crossing through this place. So that is what is known as portal. Are you getting it? Now I need to explain this so that you can get the idea of what portal is all about. So it's different from a website whereby you just navigate through any platform. Let me show you. I think I'm having a presentation. I want to show you something. Which one should I bring forth? I think let me use something. Okay, this one that I'm doing for University of Ibadan. You see something like this. This is a result management system. If you don't log in, you won't get to the end of the portal management system. So that is what is known as portal. Are you getting it? So without getting access to these places, you won't be able to enter into those platforms. So I think I have, for example, look at, I have an account for HOD, for example. So when HOD logs in, so these all these pages here, they are what, they are portal pages. You can't get to this place without logging in. So this is an example of what a portal is all about. So any page here is what, is a portal page, except you log out, that then it will now destroy the session. So now let us go back to our work. I told you initially, there are two functions I want to teach you here. Two functions that you are going to come across. The first function is known as strip lashes. Actually, if I don't use these functions in what I want to do, everything is going to work fine. But it's always good to get things right from the beginning. Are you getting it? Because the code I'm going to show you, you are going to find these two functions: strip lashes and mysql underscore real escape string. You see these two functions, they use it to prevent a login, for security of login, because there is something known as SQL injection, so that someone cannot come to your this thing and put some kind of SQL injection and it will override your database. Are you getting it? Please just try and understand. I'm not trying to make it difficult, but I just want to explain. So these two functions, strip lashes and mysql real escape string, they are two functions that's used to prevent SQL injection. These strip lashes, I told you that function used to call parameters. This one only need one parameter, which is the form element, the HTML form elements you want to prevent SQL injection from. This mysql real escape string, the function, it requires two parameters. One parameter is the connection, and the second one is the element you want to prevent. You are going to get it now. Let us forget about all these functions. Let me just go straight to our this is our login page. That one. So now what I want to show you, you also have your code here. What should be different from your own code is that I have created a file that's going to handle the login. I call it login.php. So you can also create a file, call it login.php. The login.php is here, but I'm going to come back to it. So don't forget, in our index, in our admin, we are working with admin and we only have index.php there. No, this I think is not the admin. It is the direct portal, which is this index.php here. Are you getting that? That's where we are. I created a file, in your form, this form here. There is a form here. If you don't know HTML, you just need to revise it. There is an action here known as login.php, meaning that if I should click on this submit, so what is going to run is that login.php. We've done that before. So now, this my username and password. I don't know if we have given it a name before. I think we have given it a name. I want you to take note of the name we gave it. This one you gave this one username. This one, the password, we gave it a name, an attribute of password. So these are the things you need to take note of. The name, that means that the name of this one, you can call it Sikiru. You can call this one Adisa. Just give it a name. And don't forget this name. That means that the name of this HTML element is what? Username. And the name of this HTML for password is called password. The name of this button is known as submit. So if you don't forget these names, it's very good. So I think I have 3 HTML elements here: username, password, and submit. You can call it any name, but it's always good that you give it name that is recognized, that you can remember. So I want you, because this is the first time you are doing something, a login system, so I just want you to master the name of these elements: username, password, and submit. Now, if I should click on this submit, this code is now going to run. So this is where we are going now. Now let us go to this login.php, which is going to run if I click on this submit. Now look at it. If I click on this submit, that code is going to run. So now let us go to the code. Meanwhile, I have created a database, AHMS database. You know how to create database. I created a table inside the database that will handle all the users. So you can also go and create. You should create your own database. I have taught you how to create database. So this user now, you can see I only have one user there. You can have your ID, username, password. You see this role? I just put the role there. You can leave this role, but you can also add it later. So there is no data inside. I just have Sikiru as username and Sikiru as password inside my database. I inserted it. I inserted from here. So I can decide to insert another value, maybe probably Alex, and the password is maybe Idagu, like this. Let me remove this H. Alex Idagu. So that is the username and the password. I add it. Are you getting it? So making if I click on this user, so I have 2 users. So you have to know that one. That's database. Now let me now explain. If someone should now click on this submit, this code login.php will run. And where is that login.php? This is it. I created this inside my parents. Let me show you so that you understand. This is our HTTP doc, AHMS. All these files, we are not using them. I don't know, maybe we should delete them, but in case we may need them, that's why I don't want to delete them. The file we are having here is index, and I have created another one, login.php. So you can just create an empty file, login.php. When you create the login.php, you can then follow this, because I don't want to be writing it. That's why I have already I've written it down so that I can explain. Now what is going to happen? When you want to start PHP, you start with this and you end with this. That one. So now the first thing that I'm going to do is the connection to the database. You'll know this one when we were learning MySQL or SQL statements. Localhost, root, password is empty, and the name of the database. I hope you are following. This is the name of the database, ahms_db. So now what I'm now saying is, if is set, this thing post. I've told you about this post that when I post this submit, means that if this submit button is clicked, where is that submit button? This thing. If this submit is clicked, so that's meaning if I should post this submit, that's meaning of if is set. Are you getting it? So where is the login.php? Okay, the meaning is that all this code everything between these curly braces should only run if I click on this. I can decide to remove it, but immediately just go to the URL, this code is going to run. So the only thing is just to put if is set. So watch this statement. I told you that I'm going to be teaching you this thing as if someone is teaching person a mechanic work. So if it's set submit, means that if I should click this submit, this code should run. They are now declared a variable. I call it my username so that I can differentiate it with from this one. You know, this one, the username of this one is the HTML element, that username that I asked to take note of. I declared a variable my username. I stored this post inside that HTML element. I declare another variable my password. I stored this thing inside. You see, just this variable are okay. If I should delete all this MySQL, the function I told you is going to work. If I should delete this, everything is going to work. But in order for me to prevent SQL injection, that's why I have a comment here to protect my SQL injection. More details about SQL injection, I've already explained that one. So that my SQL injection is so that people cannot inject certain code inside your login and they will get access to your database. So that is the reason for all this one. You know, I told you that my username now, this my username that is handling this post is still I just use strip like. In fact, if you want to make it, let us just delete it so that we won't confuse you. So you can delete it. They are nothing. I'm just trying to tell you that if this is name of Sikiru should handle that form. Are you getting it? This is Adisa should handle this form. So this Sikiru is, I want to prevent Sikiru from from SQL injection. So I pass Sikiru inside this function so that this function is now preventing this Sikiru. Adisa, I pass this function inside this thing so that it can prevent it. So if you delete all this, the same thing with this, my username, I'm still preventing it with this MySQL real escape string. So all these codes here are for what? SQL injection. So I can delete them. So later on, you know, after passing the variable that this, anything I type inside this username is my username, anything I type inside the password is my password. Now take note of this my username and take note of this my password. Now I wrote an SQL statement. I want to know the users that are inside the database. Are you getting it? That's why I'm writing this SQL statement. You remember that? Let me write the SQL statement inside this place so that you see what I'm saying. Select star from users. If I select star from users, it's going to return the whole users. You can see. So that is what I'm trying to do here. Select star from users where username. This username here is username of this column. If you don't know SQL, please go and revise your SQL this thing while I was teaching you. So where username is equals to anything that I type inside this place, which is this. And password, this password is the password of this one. And password is equals to anything I type inside this place. Inside this place. So that's why I'm saying select star from users where username is equals to my username and password is equals to my password. This is your SQL statement that is going to return all what is inside the database. So now, you know, result that is returning from this query, it should be stored inside this variable results. So you know, I told you about this one, MySQL underscore query. It requires two functions: the connection to the database and the SQL statement you are running, which is this. So now this results, you now declare another variable. We want to see if the data is inside. You now say count. You can call it any name. Count is equal to MySQL I underscore number of rows. MySQL I underscore number of rows. The meaning is that if I should select this thing where username is equal to my username, that means that if I should write Alex here and I should write Idagu here, or Idagu, I don't know the pronunciation. So that means that it's going to, the meaning of what I'm trying to do here is, let me do that again, because where username equals to Alex and password is equals to Idagu. This is the meaning of what I'm trying to do here. So it's going to return 1. It's going to return 1 I think I'm making mistake somewhere, and password is equals to, where username is equals to Alex and password is equals to Idagu. I want to check what is okay. Maybe I think I'm having password is equals to Idagu, where username is equals to Alex and password is equals to, maybe probably because I'm using single quotes, there are some this thing that doesn't, and password is equals to, I don't know. Okay, that is not even our, oh, password. So I think in my SQL statements here, so what I'm trying to do is that I want to check if there is user anything you use either Alex. Okay, so now let me just go straight. If I should write Alex inside this username and I put Idagu here, that means it should return one row. So now I now save the number of rows that it returns from this the result inside this count. So I'm now saying if count is equals to 1, that means that there is a user inside that database, because if there is no user inside the database, it's going to return a 0. So if count is equals to 1, that means that there is a what? I now declare the variable that it should fetch the row results. Just master this this. That means that if the meaning of this if count is equals to 1 means that if there is a data inside the database that is equivalent to that the user type inside the username and the password, if they are correct, meaning that you should declare another variable mysql underscore fetch row, which is this another function results. So after that, then you should echo. This is a JavaScript. I'm going to, you can decide to echo anything, but I just use the JavaScript here. What you are going to do is that for now, just write the JavaScript like that. You know, it's just a JavaScript I wrote here. You can decide to put normal echo. You understand? To put just echo sources here. So but JavaScript is what I used, so which is part of our training, I think in the third week of this month. So now I just put a JavaScript here. Are you getting it? That if what I'm trying to do is that, look at this if statement. This if statement, if counts is equals to 1, meaning that a data is inside the database, then it should echo this. Else, meaning that if count is equals to maybe 0 or is not even equals to anything, it should echo wrong username and password. Are you getting it? So now this is the code. Let me explain from the beginning again. I declare the variable my username, anything I post inside this thing, inside this place. You understand? I declare another variable password. So the meaning is that if I should enter Alex here and I enter a wrong password here, this time I'm writing a wrong password. I'm typing a like this. So if you should do select here, it's not going to, the count is not going to be is not going to be 1. It's going to be 0 because it doesn't see the username and the password. So it's going to return wrong username and password, and it's going to go back. So why is he doing wrong username and password? Because the count is not equals to 1. You couldn't find the user. That's why it's bringing wrong username and password. After that, I now wrote a JavaScript also, window.location. You should go to index.php. Where is index.php? Which is that this login index.php. But if it is correct, you should do login successful. You should now window.location. You go to admin. You know this admin portal that we've discussed before. Then the index of that admin portal, which is you know that index. Now let us enter a username that is correct and password that is correct. Let us use Alex Idagu. So what are we going to do? Let us write a username that is correct, Alex Idagu, like this. So this time around it's going to do select. If I should click this, it's going to do select username from where username is equal to this and password is equal to this. So that means that it's going to find this thing here and it's going to return mysql underscore row. This mysql underscore number of rows, so it's going to be 1. So that is the reason. So just try and when you understand the code, a login, you can only use a login system once. You cannot be rewriting code again, but you need to understand that code. That's the reason why I'm just reiterating this thing. So in this kind of situation, I want to advise that you watch the lesson as many times as you can, so that you understand the flow of the statement. Try and change certain things and see what is actually the float. Now let me enter a username that is correct and password. I think I have entered it. It's going to this is what JavaScript does. You understand? This is what JavaScript does. Login successful. So when I click on OK, now it said login successful. Where is login successful? It said login successful. If I should click on this OK, it's going to direct me to this place. Now let me click on OK. Okay, so it will direct me here. But in real sense, I told you about Portal. Portal is not somewhere you can just get to. So does it mean that if someone should copy this code, let me use another browser. If I should copy this code, are you getting it? If someone an authentic user comes to this page and he enters into this page, but another unauthentic user now copy this URL and go and use it. Come and copy it. It will go. Are you getting it? It's going to run. It's directing me. You understand? Without logging in. That is what will now take us to something known as session. So session is just one line of code that we are going to write on top this thing that will prevent anyhow person cannot get to the page without logging in. So that is going to be our next this thing, how to handle session. So now what you need to do, try and run this login.php. Are you getting it? Login.php. Make sure you have the same set of code. After writing the same set of code, then study it from beginning, from this connection. I connect to the database. I told you this thing that if I click submit, the entire code should run. And what is inside the entire code, you monitor everything, pause it, understand it, write it inside the book, try to understand. All these ones are functions. 1, 2, 3, 4. What they do, try and understand, then you are going to get it. So when you write your first login system, you are writing it only for once, but you need to just understand them. So thank you very much for listening.